All over the world, countries have spent loads of money, even billions, on big construction projects to improve our lives. But some of these megaprojects should have been scrapped right from the start. But not all of these megaprojects are the same. Some are set up for failure, while others turn into big projects that don't serve a purpose. From an unused interstate in Hawaii to a nuclear waste depot in Nevada, these projects are warning signs, showing us what can go wrong when big ideas don't quite work out. This leads us to explore the top 10 most useless megaprojects in the world. Some of these projects get more useless than others in the end, so make sure to stick around till the end of the video. Number 10. H3 Interstate. In Hawaii, there is an Interstate H3 which is about 26 kilometers long and takes you through some seriously amazing landscapes. Back in 1960, the idea was hatched to make this highway for defense reasons, connecting a naval base to an air station. But environmental groups and local Hawaiians were worried about the area turning too urban, and laws meant they couldn't start building for 26 years. Finally, in 1989, they got the green light and started building. Fast forward to 1997 and voila, the highway opened. But here's the catch. Even though it's stunning, some people call it the road to nowhere because it doesn't lead straight to downtown Honolulu. Plus, it got some flack for messing with important sites for native Hawaiians. And get this, it cost $1.3 billion to build, making it the most expensive per-kilometer highway in the world. Wild, huh? Let's move on to the next one. At number 9, we have the Ciudad Real Central Airport in Spain, which was meant to be a solution to Madrid's crowded airport scene, aiming to handle 2 million passengers initially, which later expanded to 10 million. However, things took a different turn after it opened in 2009. Located 200 kilometers away from Madrid, lacking major airlines, and accumulating a massive $350 million debt within a year, the airport went bankrupt in 2012. Despite being showcased as an abandoned spot on a British TV show in 2014, the airport didn't find a new purpose until 2009, storing grounded planes during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yet its future is shaky with the uncertainty of normal flight operations returning. This airport's story is a cautionary tale, built in the wrong spot, far from where it was needed, and without the major airlines to make it thrive. Despite a billion-dollar investment, it's now effectively useless for global travelers. Moving over to number 8, we have the St. Francis Dam disaster. Back in the early 1900s, Los Angeles needed a big water stash, so they brought in a self-taught engineer, William Mulholland. He came up with plans for the world's largest arch-supported dam, the St. Francis Dam, which started in 1924 and finished in 1926. This massive dam, sitting in San Francisco Canyon, could hold 12 billion gallons of water. That's about 18,000 Olympic swimming pools. But here's the problem. As it filled up, cracks started forming. Mulholland brushed it off as no big deal, but it turns out the dam's foundations couldn't handle all that water weight. On March 12, 1928, just 5 days after hitting full capacity, disaster struck. The giant dam crumbled, releasing a 120-foot wave that raced 1.5 miles, destroying everything in its path. Imagine 12 billion gallons on a wild, destructive journey straight to the Pacific Ocean in just 5 minutes. The next on our list is the Xiangwin Ghost Town, which steals the 7th place. Ever heard of Xiangwin International in Shijiazhuang, China? It's this massive 1,800-acre development that's, well, totally deserted. Over a few years, developers threw $3 billion into creating this fancy new residential wonderland. But here's where the plot thickens. The CEO got caught bribing state officials in 2014, and the whole company hit rock bottom, drowning in billions of dollars of debt. Bankruptcy was the only way out, and the government took over Xiangwin, leaving people who bought properties there seriously in the lurch. Now, picture this once promising city. It's a ghost town. Empty streets, silent buildings. Sure, there's talk of a new company wanting to give it a shot, but it'll take some serious cash to rescue this place. It's a bit of a letdown. If things had worked out, it could have been an awesome place to call home. Number 6. Malaysia's unfinished metropolis. Imagine Forest City in Malaysia, a green, smart, and futuristic paradise rising from reclaimed land on 4 man-made islands. Picture this, a city near Singapore, wrapped around an artificial forest with eco-tech-like vertical gardens and jungle-like green rooftops. At first, it was like a Chinese citizen's VIP pass because China was mainly footing the bill. Rich Chinese investors flocked there to escape crazy home prices back home. Then came a leadership switch, and foreigners got the boot from owning property, causing a ruckus. And just when things seemed rocky enough, bam, the pandemic hit, travel bans, and all that jazz. Now, despite billions poured in, Forest City is stuck in the useless megaprojects list. Sales are sluggish, with whispers of less than 10 homes sold during the pandemic. It's a bit of a head-scratcher, considering the grand vision it had. Number 5. Myanmar's Ghost City, the failure of Naypyidaw. The capital of Myanmar, Naypyidaw, was built from scratch secretly in 2002 by the military leaders at the time. They decided to make this new capital because the old one, Yangon, was getting too crowded and was about to burst at the seams with double the population by 2050. So, they threw $4 billion into this brand new city project. But despite the hype, Naypyidaw is like a city waiting for its big moment. With less than 1 million people calling it home, it's often called a ghost town. The huge 20-lane highway? Pretty much empty. The airport? Not buzzing with passengers. Even the shopping malls and hotels are kind of lonely. Still, Naypyidaw was designed to be a city of the future, and people believe it might have its time to shine someday. The city's got potential, just waiting for its redemption. Number 4. Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. Meet the HZMB Bridge, a game-changer that slashed travel time between Hong Kong, Zhuhai, and Macau from a 4-hour haul to just half an hour. This sea-crossing bridge spans over 34 miles. That's longer than driving across the entire width of Los Angeles with a bridge to spare. It cost $18.8 billion. But not many people are cruising down this engineering wonder. Why? Well, you need a golden ticket, a crossing permit, and those are as rare as a unicorn. Only big shots like high-tech investors, top academics, politicians, or generous people even get a chance, and your ride has to be registered in all 3 cities. Even then, they cap it at 400 permits a day. Some people think it's a move to ease Hong Kong's crowded streets. But why spend almost 2 decades and a fortune building this thing just to keep it under wraps? It's a bit of a mystery, don't you think? Let us know in the comments. At number 3, we have the Lotus Riverside Collapse. Imagine if your house was in Shanghai's Lotus Riverside project. Talk about wasting money. On June 27, 2009, disaster struck when one of the 11 13-story apartment blocks decided to take a horizontal nap. Luckily, no one was living there, but an unfortunate worker got caught inside while grabbing his tools. They were digging an underground garage pit beneath the building, piling all the dirt on one side. Bad move. The massive dirt mound messed with the soil, cranking up the pressure on the foundations until it snapped. The whole building went sideways. Thankfully, the other 10 blocks survived. But can you imagine the domino effect that could have been? Well, 400 other apartment owners didn't want to find out and demanded their money back. The developers ended up forking out nearly $2 million in damages and got charged with an additional $3 million for the cleanup. Number 2. Nevada's nuclear disaster. The challenge of nuclear waste disposal has been a major concern globally due to its potential catastrophic effect if not handled properly. In the 1980s, the US government wanted to find a safe place to store it. They thought Yucca Mountain in Nevada could be the spot because it's away from people, made of strong volcanic ash, and close to a nuclear testing area. But the people in Nevada weren't too happy about being the chosen ones for storing all that nuclear waste. They worried about water getting contaminated, especially since it's crucial for Native American communities. Despite protests, construction started in 2002, but it turned into a big legal and political mess. Obama stopped funding in 2010, saying it wasn't working out. Even when a court said to restart in 2013, not much changed. Fast forward to today, and Yucca Mountain isn't part of the plan anymore, according to the Biden administration. After spending over $17 billion, it's a useless project that never got off the ground. Dealing with nuclear waste is tricky, and it's clear there's no easy fix. But any plans need to listen to local worries and think about how it might affect the environment. Moving over to number 1 on our list, we have the Monju Nuclear Power Station. The Monju Nuclear Power Station in Japan is the poster child for how not to build things. So back in 1983, the Japanese were all excited about the idea of nuclear power, thinking it would revolutionize energy production. The plan was to recycle used nuclear fuel and make more energy, making things super efficient. Sounds cool, right? Well, turns out it was a disaster. For decades, this place only produced power for 1 hour. They found errors in 14,000 parts, including some that controlled important safety features of the station. Then in 1995, a fire broke out, and the staff tried to play it cool by editing security footage. Classic move. In 2010, a massive refueling machine fell into the reactor and got so wrecked it couldn't come back out. Talk about a comedy of errors. In 2011, Fukushima had a nuclear disaster, turning public opinion against nuclear power, especially Monju. By then, it had swallowed up almost $12 billion, and in 2016, it finally got shut down for good. Now they're planning to tear it down, but get this, it'll take until 2047 and cost another $3.4 billion. So, it's been a 60-year, $15 billion lesson in how not to build stuff. And here's the kicker. They named it after the Buddhist deity of wisdom. In our previous video, we talked about the biggest megaprojects under construction in Europe and how they're reshaping the continent. Click the video you see on the screen now to watch how these architectural projects are redefining our future.